We start out the story with Winston in a train looking at other party members. These party members are dressed in blue uniform that signify a subservient attitude towards the higher power.
End of the line.
As Winston is leaving the train, he'll notice a hovering object that'll take his picture as an invasion of privacy.
The first main object that he sees is the telescreen, showing the image of Big Brother. This shows the technology a totalitarian government could use in the future to regulate people. While looking at the telescreen, Winston hears the manipulative words meant to change the minds and attitudes of the citizens. As Winston turns, he sees a guard intimidating a worker and parting him from his possessions.
Were you the only ones on that train?
This is his base of operations.
Right now, Winston is with the other workers who are afraid to report to the civil protection guards. As you can see, that huge screen way over there is another telescreen of Big Brother. Right there he pops up. So basically, everywhere they go, they're reminded of Big Brother, and they hear more manipulative messages.
War is peace.
Freedom is slavery.
Ignorance is strength. Here we have Winston in an alley getting ready to be put in an interrogation room. In the real story, Winston was tortured and brainwashed in order to change his attitudes towards the authorities. In this story, however, none of this will happen. In the Russian Revolution and also in 1984, there was a secret party of people against the government. In Orwell's novel, this party was called the Brotherhood and was run by Goldstein.
In these governments, there were many spies that snitched on those who were disloyal to the party. Because of this, not many people trusted each other and kept their views mainly to themselves unless it was in support of the party. This scene that you're watching now did not happen in the real story, but it is significant because it shows how people collaborated against the government and how furtive they were when they collaborated in this type of rebellious movement. Here, we'll refer to this guy as Goldstein, who's the leader of the Brotherhood movement. Oranges and lemons, says the bells of St. Clemens. You owe me 3 farthings, says the bells of St. Martin's. When will you pay me, says the bells of Old Bailey. When I grow rich, says the bells of Shoreditch. Here comes the candle to light you to bed. Here comes a chopper to chop off your head. Governments would often want to strike fear into the citizens, so guards in both the stories use intimidation methods in order to subdue the citizens and give them a scare. This guard is forcing Winston actually to pick up the can and throw it in the garbage, and if Winston refuses, he gets a beating. So the guard is having his own primal amusement, and now he lets Winston go free. As he is standing still, Winston gets hit again by the guard, and again.
Even the streets leading up to its outer barriers were roamed by gorilla-faced guards in black uniforms, armed with jointed truncheons. In 1984, they were served bland bread, bad cheese, and gray-looking soup.
In this scene, Winston is leaving the door, and the first thing he sees is a telescreen and a citadel. This citadel can be compared to the 4 ministries in 1984. The Ministry of
Love, Peace, Plenty, and Truth.
These ministries served as buildings for working party members to perform tasks for the party. Here, Winston travels around Victory Square, which was also in 1984. He tries talking to one of the people, but he refuses to talk. Similarly, in 1984, he tries talking to Julia, but can only talk to her while they're in a big crowd together.
Julia is an important character in 1984 because it was the love between Winston and herself that was a sacrifice in a world where sacrifices were scarcely made.
Winston roams the neighborhood playground but sees no kids. In 1984, there was a sense of desexualization. The only sexual activities that were allowed were to procreate more party members.
Ever since the children were little, the thought police were teaching them the philosophy of INSOC. They taught them how to spy on their parents and turn them in if they committed any crime.
Winston enters one of the apartments and sees a couple friends of his.
I thought you were a cop.
He's one of us.
He notices a telescreen, which is in every single apartment,
Please.
so that Big Brother can get into the minds of the people.
Attention, residents. Miscount detected in your block. Cooperation with your civil
An
protection.
important scene in 1984 was when Winston was up in Mr. Charrington's store at the top level in a secret hideout. And what happened was that Winston trusted Mr. Charrington and told him all the secrets about the Brotherhood and stuff. What it turned out to be was that the person he told secrets to, Goldstein and Mr. Charrington, were actually helping out the government and people against him. So he ended up being
Get in here, quick!
captured
moving.
by
Head for
a
the
lot
roof.
of guards.
Keep going!
That was one of the climaxes of the story where he went into prison, was tortured.
Nice.